Today in crypto, Bitcoin is maintaining strong price momentum, but can it last, or are we in for more price pain? The US stimulus package gets held up by Congress thanks to, of course, disgusting corruption in the government. The Federal Reserve keeps doubling down on infinite money printing, and the FDIC wants to assure you that your money is safe in the bank. The cryptolark. This is where you subscribe for all of the hottest and all of the latest happening out there in the wild, wild land of crypto and beyond. Before we turn over to the charts, if you are new to crypto, then you need to check out my course, Cryptocurrency Explained. I will show you all of the basics, how to buy, send, and store Bitcoin and Ethereum, as well as teach you the top resources and tips that you need to know for success in crypto investing. There is a link down below where you can learn more. Okay. Now over to the charts. So we are moving closer and closer to the monthly close for Bitcoin. And of course, we do have to wait for this candle to actually close to be valid. But I just wanted to underline really the insane demand that we saw for Bitcoin at the $4,000 and the $5,000 levels. I mean, just look at that monthly candle right now, how it's forming up. That is a $3,000 wick. That is showing massive support from buyers has happened. There are a lot of people out there who are bullish on the future of Bitcoin, especially at those price points. Obviously, let's see how this month closes out, but definitely curious to see how it is shaping up. Now, over on the weekly, we are still sitting nicely above that 200-week moving average. Now, a lot could change in the next few days, but let's hope that the momentum that we are seeing does continue and that we close a nice green candle over the 200-week moving average. That would definitely be a bullish sign for the recovery of the market. Over on the daily, we just got a third bounce on the key trend line that has been forming up. Now, this line of support on the daily, I'm looking at this as a critical level right now. A break below this line would send the price back into a definitely more bearish zone. So let's watch for $6,000 as a holding line on the daily for Bitcoin right now. Although a wick down to around 5,900, that would not actually invalidate this, since that level of right around 5,900 has in the short term set itself up as a good price line for Bitcoin to hold at. But also we do have some strong historical moments when the price found support right around the $5,900 level. But I do think that we could see this uptrend continuing for a while. But do just remember that although the charts are looking relatively bullish at the moment, that as this crisis grinds on, we could definitely have more panic moments in store, and of course that equates into more moments of price pain, so do be aware of that. Also, if you're looking for a great place to trade Bitcoin futures and to long and to short the market, then check out Bybit. If you sign up using the link down below, then you can actually get up to $90 in trading bonuses. Bybit is of course a high risk, high reward margin trading platform, and it is only for experienced traders. By the way, it's not just Bitcoin that is up at the moment. The Dow Jones Industrial Average recovered more than 2,000 points on Tuesday, soaring to its largest one-day percentage gain since 1933. Wowzers. Gold also had a really good day as well. In fact, gold has been having a great week overall, right along with Bitcoin. Gold is up around 12.5% in just the last few days, proving that even in times of great uncertainty that there is massive opportunity out there in the markets. In fact, gold is in red hot demand right now, especially the real stuff, with gold and even silver dealers around the world reporting shortages as they are unable to keep up with the demand from retail consumers walking in and trying to buy physical gold and silver. Okay, now on to the first big story of the day. The stimulus deal in the United States has stalled in Congress. Really, no surprises there, to be honest. But we do have a new price tag for that package. Just have a quick listen to this video here.
The fund, by the way, will be overseen by an oversight board and an inspector general. It will be completely transparent. So the total package here comes to roughly $6 trillion. $2 trillion direct assistance, roughly $4 trillion in Federal Reserve lending power. Again, it'll be the largest Main Street financial package in the history of the United States. Liquidity and cash for families, small business, individuals, unemployed, to keep this thing going.
$6 trillion. $6 frickin' trillion. That is wild. Remember, this is not coming from like a government savings account. No, far from it. The U.S. is actually $23 trillion in debt. And this is not from tax revenues. No, the U.S. collects far less than that annually and already runs at a very large deficit, meaning that, of course, that they collect less in taxes than the government is spending, meaning that they are borrowing to spend every year. This is new money being created and new money that is being flooded into the financial system. Also, this bill will likely be one of the biggest handouts ever to corporate America. Lobbyists, they are working overtime in DC right now to make sure they get their little slice of the free money pie. Even if $500 billion goes to regular Americans, just remember that that is basically just a small bribe to placate the masses. Corporations, they are gonna get way, way more. Every major industry right now, they have their hand out for as much as they can get. Man, screw these corrupt politicians. They're always just so ready to get down on their knees to please their corporate masters. It's gross. Seriously, in the middle of a pandemic, instead of acting decisively to help regular people, the politicians are slowing down the process in order to make sure that every corporate lobbyist has their chance to get a piece of the pie. This is payday for these guys. It's absolutely sickening, but this is what politicians do. They take bribes and then they do favors for people on the other end. This is it in action. Public health be damned. Now up next are two very interesting stories that I want to share with you that have come up in just the last few days. The first one is a short clip from the Federal Reserve. So let's have a little peek at that real quick.
Everything that the Fed has done this past week as essentially flooding the system with money.
Yes, exactly.
And there's no end to your ability to do that.
There is no end to our ability to do that.
Is the Fed just going to print money?
That's literally what Congress has told us to do. That's the authority that they've given us to print money and provide liquidity into the financial system. And that's how we do it. We create it electronically, and then we can also print it with the Treasury Department, print it so that you can get money out of your ATM. Your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
That guy did not misspeak. You heard that right. Infinite money. As if the $6 trillion wasn't enough already. And $6 trillion, that's a startling amount of money, but that's just the beginning amount of money. These guys are sociopaths. They are literally ready and willing to print any wealth that is stored in dollars into absolute oblivion. Your dollar's sitting in a bank account earning 0.01% interest. That's cute. Really, that's nice, isn't it? Inflation is about to rob you blind. And just as a bit of extra icing on the cake, just who is being tapped by Secretary of Treasury Steven Mnuchin to help oversee these bailouts? Well, it's none other than our good friends over at Goldman Sachs. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I swear, life, it is the real comedy. I couldn't write this stuff if I tried. It's so absurd. This is like putting the foxes in charge of the hen house. The central banks, they are all promising unlimited quantitative easing. There will be no end to the money printing. There will be no end to the buying of corporate bonds. And that is seriously sick, by the way. You're going to have the government out there, the Federal Reserve, stepping in and actually buying these junk corporate bonds. The system's a total joke. this crisis could spell real trouble for the dollar and other major fiat currencies. We may be finally entering that early stage of hyper Bitcoinization, because we might, of course, be entering the first stages of hyperinflation for the world's most important fiat currencies. The Federal Reserve has promised infinite money. The Bank of England, they have said that they will put up unlimited quantities of money. And the European Central Bank, they have also said that there are no limits that they won't go to in defense of the euro. And the US deficit will likely be over $3 trillion this year, meaning that there will also be unending debt. Now, how long until the US has $30 trillion in debt? How long until the debt owed by the US government goes over the yearly tax income for the government? What will the answer be to such absolutely insurmountable debt? Well, it's going to be the same answer that there always is. Print more money. Print money to ensure corporate profits. Print money to cover the debt. Print money to fix the problems caused by printing money. That's their only answer. It's crazy. I am so happy that I hold Bitcoin when I see news stories like this. It's just, wow. Wow. And I did promise you a second story, so let's start it off with this nice little video here from our good friends over at the FDIC.
This is what I would like you to take away from this. Your money is safe at the banks. The last thing you should be doing is pulling your money out of the banks now, thinking that it's going to be safer someplace else. You don't want to be walking around with large wads of cash, and you certainly don't want to be hoarding cash in your mattress. It didn't pan out well for so many people. And I will tell you this, no depositor has lost a penny of their insured deposits since 1933, when the FDIC was created. So if you're talking about having your money in a safe place, please keep it in an FDIC insured bank.
First off, the fuck is up with that cheesy music, man? Nothing says, like, lack of confidence like that cheesy music. Anyway, this is the FDIC telling you to please don't take your money out of the bank. It really makes you feel like you want to take all your money out of the bank after listening to something like that, doesn't it? Look, a bank run, it can happen. I don't want these things to happen, but it's a possibility. They have happened in lots of other countries around the world, many in just the last couple of years. There is no reason to think that the USA is immune from having these things happen. Also, I've had a lot of people asking about the FDIC since my video the other day where I said that the FDIC only covers around 1% of US bank deposits. Now, although I've actually covered this topic before in previous videos, I do need to, of course, remember personally too that since I last discussed it some months ago, that many new people have come into crypto, and of course, many new people have come to the channel in general. So here are the numbers for you so you can understand what a joke the FDIC actually is. So the FDIC currently has a little more than $100 billion in its insurance fund. Well, that sounds like a lot of money, right? So that means that they can cover 400,000 people who hold $250,000 in their bank account. That sounds pretty good. But then you need to realize that the total amount of US bank deposits is around $9.5 trillion. And the total of these deposits that are insured by the FDIC is maybe around $6 trillion or so. You can take a minute to do the math there, but something doesn't seem to add up to me. How does 100 billion cover 6 trillion or even 9.5 trillion? Also, it remains to be seen what, if any, role the FDIC would play if the US actually allows banks to do bank bail-ins. These are now legal in almost every country, the USA included. After they did the bank bail-ins in Cyprus and there were no bankers that were hung in the town square, I think the elites looked at themselves and decided, well, I guess that's cool and normal, so we should probably do that again in the future. Put that under our caps as a tool to use for later. A bank bail-in, in case you're not familiar, is where the bank takes money from your account to cover their losses. Cash is a risk. Yes, it is true. It is true that you can get robbed in your home if you have a bunch of cash sitting in your house, or that actually a cop in the USA can rob you on the way home from the bank, because remember, having cash makes you a criminal. And only criminals have cash. insane logic, but that's the logic applied in civil asset forfeitures by cops. But banks are not as safe as they are made out to be. Now look, maybe you don't need to worry, since the Federal Reserve will probably just print the other few trillion dollars if needed to cover the US bank deposits, if banks in the US actually do fail, if the helicopter money being thrown out to them in terms of these stimuluses and bailouts doesn't just save the banks anyway. But assuming that the FDIC is some kind of a safety blanket during a black swan, it just isn't. It really isn't. We will always think that these bad things, they can only happen to someone else somewhere else, and that they can't happen to us. That multi-hour lines to withdraw a few dollars from the bank, that only happens in faraway places. It can happen anywhere to anyone at any time. The system is super fragile, and it is massively corrupt and rotten. This is what has happened and been proven to us in places like Argentina and India and Lebanon. Capital controls can and will be implemented by banks. They have proven they are willing to do it. You will be restricted from accessing your money. The banks, they have every right to do this, and they will do it if they deem it necessary. I've said it before, and I will say it again. The perfect storm is here for Bitcoin. Central banks, they are printing unlimited money, making hyperinflation an increasing reality for the world's most prominent fiat currencies. Rates are going to zero, or they are going to negative everywhere during this crisis. Capital controls are becoming increasingly likely. The banks are already begging people not to take their money out of the banks, because the reality is they don't have it thanks to fractional reserve banking. And the Bitcoin halving is less than 50 days away. Tick tock, mother duckers. It's coming, man. It's coming. These are the times that separate the men from the boys and the ladies from the girls. The believers will buy and hold Bitcoin. The believers probably already do hold Bitcoin. Bitcoin remains, as it always has, a permissionless, decentralized Swiss bank in your pocket. No bail-ins, no unelected clowns printing trillions more. Just solid, simple economics and digital scarcity. In times like this, I am definitely happy to be a Bitcoin holder. But of course, those are just my 2 Satoshis. You will let me know what you think about any of today's news stories down below in the comment section. Do you think that 6 trillion is going to be the final number for this stimulus package? Or are we going to see 10 trillion? 20 trillion. These numbers sound insane, but 6 trillion is a crazy number, man. Totally crazy. So I'd love to know your opinion about that down below. Will we see even more trillions being thrown into the dumpster fire of the economy or not? Love to know your opinion on that. And of course, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you're staying safe, that you're staying healthy, and that you're keeping a positive attitude through all of this craziness that we see going on out there. Make sure to hit that like button if you did enjoy today's video, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.